supply chain crisis is getting worse. It is a man-made crisis. It is not a natural crisis. There shouldn't be any production problems in a world full of abundance these days, but there are because leftists keep getting in the way of production. Joe Biden, however, in his speech yesterday, admitted it again and said the quiet part out loud. He is using this crisis. Just go to your grocery store and stores. You're going to see empty shelves in a lot of places, not all, but in a lot. Biden is now using this supply crisis and the shortages. He's using it as a Trojan horse to push, shockingly, for more spending, federal spending, which will cause an even bigger crisis because the supply side has been disrupted, not the consumption side. Here's Joe Biden saying the quiet part out loud. Check this out.
Strengthening our supply chain will continue to be my team's focus. If federal support is needed, I will direct all appropriate action. And if the private sector doesn't step up, we're going to call them out and ask them to act. Because our goal is not only to get through this immediate bottleneck, but to address the long-standing weaknesses in our transportation supply chain that this pandemic has exposed.
Oh, he wants to address the long-standing weaknesses through more government intervention. So just to be clear, we have a supply chain problem, as I said with Jesse Waters last night on Fox Primetime, because you have a bunch of environmental and labor regulations that are preventing truckers and work hour regulations from unloading stock at the supplies at the port. Completely government-created problem, right? Then you paid people not to work, so people who would have been truckers didn't become truckers because they were getting paid to sit home. Again, man-made. Then, as well, what do? You have a bunch of shipping restrictions, Jones Act stuff, again, man-made, that prevents ships from taking stuff here if they're not flagged with American flags, right? Then what else do? You create a bunch of disincentives for people to produce by regulating and taxing the economy and threaten to tax them more. All of this is man-made. It is a manufactured reality. This is a perfect example of the unbroken leg fallacy. The government creates shortages everywhere, and then to fix the shortages, Joe Biden uses the shortages as a Trojan horse to introduce even bigger government. Ladies and gentlemen, mark the date. If Joe Biden's $3.5 trillion porculus bill passes and this infrastructure bill, flooding the economy with more money to buy products that aren't there, they're not there, you will see inflation like you've never seen before in your lifetime. October 14th, mark the date. Mark it. Because what'll happen? When inflation explodes because they have to print more money to chase products that don't exist, making the products that do exist more expensive, the Democrats will play dumb. Mark the date, October 14th. Had to look twice.